I'm Kendra. This is Yoga with Kendra on Twitch, and we're gonna jump right into it today. If you have a mat, roll it out. This is gonna be a quick 15-minute practice that is meant to inspire you to just do the basics. Sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes that's everything that you need. Let me just tell you, I've had a hell of a day, and this 15 minutes has the opportunity within it to kind of reset all of that, flush out the mind, and if you're on the East Coast with me, 9 o'clock, starting to tone it down for the day, slow it down, and just feel really good with some easy, simple introduction to yoga positions. If you are looking for something more fiery, you can reference yesterday's videos where we did sun salutations and a really fun balancing act, and that's a great way to heat up your practice if you want to do more after this 15 minutes. But let's start here, and today we're listening to Yoga Vibes Calm. So if you're on Spotify, follow me, Kendra Stahl. You can find that in my playlist. Let's start out right here. Let's go. If you have a blanket or a bolster, which mine has a cat on it right now, but hopefully she'll share, this can make coming to an easy seat a little easier, because even a pose as simple as this cannot always feel the best from the beginning, especially if the hips are tight, the hip flexors. It ends up, like if I didn't have this, it might end up looking like this. Like you're trying to sit, but you look like this, and it's uncomfortable, and your knees are lifted, and you can't sit up tall. So when you place a block or a blanket or a bolster under your seat, it lifts up your hips so that your knees can rest down, and you can sit up tall, all the way out through the crown. Reach the hands over the head, and breathe in, and blow it out. One more. Let the hands float down. Slowly. Bring the hands to the knees, and we'll start with a seated cat-cow to warm up the spine. So if you'd like, if you're comfortable where you're at right now, go ahead and close the eyes and just let my voice guide you through the sequence. I promise to vocalize all of the transitions and the nuances of the pose. Of course, if it ever helps to just peek and look, you can do that. But by closing the eyes, it might help you feel the breath, feel the pose, and the benefits a little more. Hands on the knees, and we'll arch the spine backwards. So you're tucking your chin to your chest. Inhale. And then on the exhale, lead with your nose. Lead forward like you're pushing a little ball of yarn until eventually you form an arch with your spine. The shoulders roll back and the chest forward. The nose lifts all the way up. Good. Next breath. Pressing forward. Inhale. Lift up the chin. Exhale. Round out the spine, pulling from the knees. Good. Inhale forward. Exhale. Arch the spine. Come back to center. Inhale, bring the arms up and overhead again, just like we did in the beginning. Up and overhead. Cat toys, dog toys rolling everywhere. Good. On the exhale, take your right hand behind, your left hand on your right knee. So we're twisting. And we're going to bring the chest around with you, not cranking or forcing it, but just an easy stretch. And then let your gaze turn to the side with your chest. Take an extra breath. Feeling this lift up and out of the crown of the head while your seat stays grounded into the mat. Inhale and bring the arms back overhead, lift up at the top. So we have this pull from both directions, the hands lifting up and the seat grounding down. It helps to pull the lower ribs back in towards your center so that you have more length in the back body. Good. We'll twist the other way. So take the left hand behind, right hand comes to the knee, let it land where it does, and then inhale, lift up and out of the crown of your head like you have a rod going through the very center of your back, and then revolve around that rod. Take another breath in your twist, feeling the breath fill up the rib cage, the lungs, the chest. Come back to center, arms reach overhead. And this time, we'll plant the hands all the way in front of us. I'm going to turn to the side of my mat. You can open your eyes if they're closed right now. Move the bolster or blanket, whatever you're sitting on, out of the way. So if you were in your seat, this is what that looked like, right? You had your arms overhead, and then you plant them forward, roll over the feet, or you could also bring them out to the side. And end up in all fours. So we're going to do that same cat-cow movement, but from all fours and from a little different foundation. Aligning knees under hips, wrists under shoulders, and we'll begin our movement. Inhale, lower the belly, look forward, lift the tailbone up, the butt goes up. Good. Exhale and round it out. Inhale, forward, arch the spine, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale. If this is your first time doing this pose, it might feel a little bit stiff, but try to let your breath lead your movement. That might not make entire sense right here in the beginning, but try to keep that in mind as you progress, as you keep moving. And if you're familiar to this sequence, try to allow the movements to be as easy as possible. Don't try to make the biggest back bend or the biggest arch, but just breathe, inhale, go to that point where you feel like stopping and then take in a little more air. Exhale and transition. Good. Neutral spine, right leg kicks out behind, toes pointed down towards the ground, and we'll draw knee to the nose so you find that arch underneath, step all the way through, so we're in a low lunge pose. The knees down in the back. And keep the hands beside the feet. Your pelvis starts going down towards the ground. Look forward. Oh yeah. Probably feeling a pretty nice stretch running up through the leg. Tuck your back toe. Lift up the back knee. So now you're in a high runner's lunge. And we'll walk the hands around to the side of your mat. Side. And come into a wide leg forward fold. So spread the legs as wide as what feels good. And then relax your spine. So you're working with gravity here. I'm going to turn to the side again so you can see what I'm talking about next. But instead of trying to get the arms to reach towards the ground, I want you to think about the hips coming up higher. That will help you fold. So it's really the lengthening of the backs of the legs that will help you fold further down, right? See, like if I'm bent here, my tailbone's tucked, I'm only going to go this far. But if I lengthen, lift the hips up, then I can fold. Stay here for a few breaths. Enjoy the sensations of working with gravity when all day you've been fighting against it, standing or sitting, and everything's draining down. This is your opportunity to reset, maybe get rid of a few wrinkles. Breathe easy. Don't worry about where you're going next. Sometimes slowing down can be the hardest part of the practice, but it's can be the most essential. If you find that it is really hard for you, it might be something you need the most. And as I mentioned earlier, if you want some more heat building, feel free to go to the sun salutations after we do this warm-up beginner session. So I'm going to turn back where I originally was on my mat so we can transition to the other side. So we were right foot forward. We'll walk around the other way, drop the back knee, and now you're in a low runner's lunge on the opposite side. Untuck the back toe, plant the top of the foot, and then start letting the hips sink down towards the mat and form a long line out through your spine, crown of the head. The hands can stay on the mat or maybe up onto the fingertips. gaze right in front of you and find some easy breaths as you let the pelvis keep sinking down towards the mat, slightly leaning forward and into the stretch. Tune into the music, tune into your breath, and tune out of everything else. Can you be just in this position, just with the breath at hand, with nothing else? Easier said than done. Tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, high runner's lunge, and we'll walk around again to the center of the mat. This time, reach the arms out wide and behind your back, interlace the fingertips, roll the shoulders back, and then we'll fold again, bringing the arms up overhead. Stay aware enough in this pose to see if you can move deeper, if your crown of the head can reach closer to the ground, or maybe the arms come further overhead. Don't let you hold you back from getting a really, really nice stretch. Breathe deeply. Release the arms. Good. Heel toe the feet close together so you come into a forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale and come halfway up to a flat back. We do this in our sun salutations. Exhale, refold. Walk the hands forward, the feet back, and come into downward dog, pedaling out through the feet, loosening up the calves, the backs of the legs, shake the head a few times. Lift the hips to the highest point. Heels reach down. Drop the knees to the mat and child's pose. Roll the spine, coming to sit up on the heels, hero's pose. Taking the hands behind you, we have just one more thing we're going to do here. Take the hands behind you and come up onto the feet. So we did a lot of stretching for the backs of the legs. Just do a little bit for the fronts, for the quads. So bringing one knee down at a time and switching opposite direction. Move as fast or as slow as what feels good to you, as what your body feels like it needs. Maybe you spend more time on this side than the other because it's just tighter for some reason. Not always even. The most important part is to keep a fluid breath and try to focus on the movement that you're doing as you're doing it. Come back to our seated position. Come to eyes closed from your seated position. Almost done, just closing it out. And since we're taking it slow trying to find that motivation, or even just by trying this, maybe you can see that it really does only take a few minutes or a few movements to reset. You might ask yourself if your mind feels as cluttered or if you feel a little more free, or you could also just be really proud of yourself for doing what we did, for following along. I hope that this has inspired you to do even a few purposeful movements throughout your day. Next week, I'll be here again, Tuesday, 9 o'clock. And we'll speed it back up with some more fun balancing and adding on to our fiery sun salutations. Check out yesterday's one. It was really fun. And I'll see you guys next week. Good night. Namaste.